Hello, everyone. January is finally almost over. We got 2 more days. I feel like January's been forever, and I feel like the rest of the year is probably going to go by too fast. So, once again, got to cherish and do all the things I want to do and get them done because time waits for no one. But as always, obligatory self promotion. What If I Were the World? Poems inspired by music, my first book. I need to work on my next book, which I need to really get on, doing my outlines and getting that together so I can start writing it and publish it. I think I'm pretty sure I'm going to do self publishing, but I might try to submit it to some companies and see what happens. Or maybe I'll self publish it and then try, outside of that. But, you know, that's what my plan is so far. Um, I haven't made any real updates, so I don't have anything new to update on that. So we're here to talk about Back to Black by Amy Winehouse, and my camera or my tripod was already here, so we're in the corner again. Um, so yeah, and I'm wearing black, wearing my favorite cardigan. I'm recording this after work, so I was already wearing black, but I mean, I guess it fits. I wish I had like a shirt or like I knew how to do green screen so I could just put them in the background or something like entertaining. I need to figure out how to do that. So, we can have some variety over here because um I eventually want to like have like a bookshelf in the back or something that is like entertaining. Like this one lady I follow, her name is Possessed by Horror. Her name is Sarah, and she has like her DVDs in the background. She reviews horror movies, and I feel like that's really cool, like a really cool set. Some people really have really cool setups, but I'll get there eventually. Shout out to I think I got three. I've gotten a few new subscribers, so hello if you're watching this video. So let's get into it. I've rambled enough. We're here to talk about Back to Black by Amy Winehouse. I'm going to give you a little bit of background on her and who she was. She was born Jade Winehouse, September 14th, 1983, and she passed away, sadly, July 23rd, 2011, at the age of 27. So she is part of the 27 Club, which is really sad. She was an English singer, songwriter, and musician. With over 30 million records sold worldwide, she is known for her deep, expressive contralto vocals. I don't know if I said that right. And her eclectic mix of music genres, including soul, rhythm and blues, R&B, reggae, and jazz. She was a member of the National Jazz Orchestra in her youth, uh, signing to Simon Fuller's 19 Management in 2002. Soon she recorded a number of songs before signing a publishing deal with EMI. She formed a working relationship with producer Salam Remy, which they worked a lot together through these uh, record publishers. Uh, yeah, and they did. I think they did all of Back to Black. I'm pretty sure. I have to look up Frank. Frank is also a really great album. She only has two albums, or she only had two albums, unfortunately, which was Frank and Back to Black, but they're both great, honestly. What else did she have going on when she was alive? Her debut, Frank, was released, speaking of that, in 2003. Many of the songs were influenced by jazz, and apart from two covers, were all written by her. Frank was a critical and commercial success in the UK and beyond. It was nominated for the UK's Mercury Prize. I don't know what that is, but it's apparently prestigious because it's in the Wikipedia. The song Stronger Than Me won her the Ivor Novelli Award for Best Contemporary Song for British Academy of Songwriters, Composers, and Authors. Wow. Okay. And then her follow up release, Back to Black in 2006, came out October 27th, 2006. It was a huge international success and one of the best-selling albums of all time, as well as one of the best-selling albums in UK history. She was nominated for a lot of stuff. The song "Rehab" won her second Ivor Novelli Award. At the Grammy, she won 5 Grammys, so that's great. Including three of the Big Four Grammys: Best New Artist, Record of the Year, and Song of the Year for Rehab, as well as Best Pop Vocal Album. So she had that. She had a lot of awards. Winehouse struggled through her life with substance abuse, mental illness, and addiction. She did. She died at her Cambridge Square home in London of alcohol poisoning in 2011 at the age of 27. And we talked about 27 Club. Her brother also believed that she was bulimic. Her being bulimic was also a factor. Um, After her death, Black to Black briefly became UK's best-selling album of the 21st century. And yeah, and then of course that awful biopic Back to Black came out last year, which was crap. I definitely do not recommend it. Watch the documentary Amy. I feel like that was so much better and so much more in depth and so much more, I feel like, authentic to what her life was like and what I feel like she wanted her legacy to be, even though, the bad parts, unfortunately. Um, so yeah. I've already made a video like reviewing it and basically saying it was like kind of like a what's that one where you Cliff Notes version. There we go. Cliff Notes version of her life, and it wasn't really like too in depth. You didn't really. I learned a little bit new, like with her grandma, but it wasn't like that much. I think I maybe gave it a 5 out of 10. I probably gave it less. I'm gonna be honest. I probably gave it less than that, but I don't remember. But yeah, so we're here to talk about Back to Black, and I already talked about the release date. And the genre is soul R&B, contemporary R&B, neo soul, and pop. And you can stream it on YouTube Music, Apple Music, Pandora, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud, I've already said Apple Music, Amazon Music. So yeah. And then the vibes I got from this album were heartbreak, which kind of the main thing because she was going through a breakup when she wrote this album. Vulnerable and honest. Yeah, has a lot of vulnerability and honesty going on. All right, so of course the main single "Rehab" is gonna be so. I'm gonna talk about my favorite songs, my least favorite songs, and my overall opinion. So, "Rehab" is gonna be the first favorite song, which was the main single. It's very raw and honest. Her big hit and very autobiographical. Excuse me. And looking back on it, she knew she needed help, and it's still a great song, but it's like very haunting now. Obviously, she's passed away because of one of her addictions, and the fact that her father enabled her destructive behavior, but wanted to be portrayed as a good influence in her biopic was crazy. And it reminds me of watching Amy. I was talking about this with a fan on TikTok when I shared, like, I made like my short videos on there. And yeah, the dad, I remember there was a scene where Amy just wanted to go on vacation and the dad brought a camera crew because he wanted to record, like, I guess like a show that he wanted to do with Amy. And she was like, I just wanted to relax. And that was just crazy to me. And that he wasn't really in her life until she became famous. But yeah, um, I don't know if we'll ever get like a biopic where it's like, I guess it has to have the family involved because they have to use, because you want to use the music, right? Which I feel like the documentary used the music and it was and it was not in like the dad's favor. So I feel like, I don't know what they did with the Amy documentary, but I'm pretty sure it had the music in there. And then the second favorite, or another favorite song, is "Me and Mr. Jones," and I love this as a tribute to Nas because his last name is the singer rapper Nas. His name is Nasir Jones, so it's a nod to him. and her love for his music. And they also became friends while she was alive. And I think they have a song together. When I was looking up the lyrics and stuff in the background. And I'm pretty sure they did. And it's really interesting because she mentions in like the first verse she misses a Slick Rick concert, and she really did. It was because of her ex. LOL. Who the song I'm assuming is mostly about. So once again, drawing from her own life. I feel like this song is so fun and underrated. It's very deep cut, and it's a bop. I love it. At first, when I heard it, I thought it was like me and Mrs. Jones. You know how like that song, he was having an affair with Mrs. Jones. She's married. I thought it was like that, but Mr. Jones is married. I didn't realize it was like about Nas and her love for his music and love for music, like kind of in general. But that's really cool. And then, of course, another single. I don't think this was the first single, but this is the title track, Back to Black. Once again, very raw and vulnerable, super honest about all of her relationship from the drug use to the breakup, showing how she grieved her relationship and how heartbreak can take you to a dark place. And yeah, and I feel like it's so sad, but she's like, she says she died 100 times. So you're grieving your relationship, you're dying, or you feel like you're dying, you're not really dying. But, just going through that and grieving your relationship and then knowing, like, especially in this case, like her ex husband went back to his ex girlfriend before they got back together and got married. That has to really suck to, like, not just break up because you're not compatible or whatever, but for you to go back to someone else. I personally would not go back to that person, but it is what it is. It wasn't my life, so. But yeah, it's a really great song. And then my last favorite song is "Love Is a Losing Game." It's so very beautiful and like heartbreaking, very emotional and relatable. Everyone can relate to losing out on love, and the beat and her singing, they go great, so great together. It's like slow, but it still has like a little Caribbean kind of ting going on. Um, but yeah, and I just love the lyrics. It's like, "For you I was a flame." It's like very poetic. A lot of her lyrics. Um, yeah, and I want to put too many songs. I always do the 4 songs in a row of the ones that I liked. But yeah, those are my favorite songs. I didn't have a least favorite song. I would say I don't think anything is bad on this album, honestly. Just Friends is kind of a different kind of vibe. It is very Caribbean as well, but it's not bad, but it's kind of different because he's like, when are we just gonna be just friends? But it's like not. I feel like it's not in a sad way. I feel like that's one of the happier or not depressing songs on the album, but it's kind of like asking, when can we just be friends? Like, when do we have the time to be friends? And it doesn't sound like a sad way to me. I could be interpreting it wrong because I don't know if I looked up the meaning behind it. I feel like I did, but I don't remember it 100%. But I don't think it was bad. But yeah, it's just like a different one. But I feel like all the songs are different. So yeah, speaking of that, let's get into the overall opinion. Of course, I love this album as I do all of them on the list, but this is a great sophomore album for Amy. Even though it's mostly sad songs, there were still fun songs like Me and Mr. Jones and Addicted. And Addicted is just her talking about how she likes to smoke weed. How she likes to smoke weed. So yeah. And also when I was looking at her up, I totally understand. Like sometimes I don't think smoking weed is that bad, but I also know in the early 2000s it was like you were smoking crack. And I do know that sometimes some smokers are kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, if extra is the right word, but it's like if you need it to do everything, that's a little much. But I do remember like the early 2000s, they kind of acted like you had a crack pipe in your hand, and it was like very dramatic about it. But yeah, I was like, glad she was able to like have fun with it and like make the song addicted. Um, yeah, so I said, so you won't be crying the whole time, lol. Despite it being mostly sad, all the songs still stood out from each other and were unique. So like every song was pretty different. even though like a lot of them were sad, but like we had just friends, which is kind of a nice break. It was like happy ish. And then me and Mr. Jones, like I said, and then Rehab is not sad 100%. It's self reflecting, I guess, but it's not sad. So there's that too. Um, so yeah, so the songs stood out from each other and were unique, and they didn't blend together, and I love that. So that was good. Um, as I said before, Amy was raw, honest, and vulnerable, and it made the album wonderful. Of course, it's a 10 out of 10, as always. I feel like I should have put this higher on the list, but I do feel like my top five is pretty strong. I know no one ever like responds to my comments, but I am contemplating changing my number one, but not changing it like trying to make it sound right. I'm either trying to make I'm going to change my number one, but I'm still going to keep what was number one. So Mariah Carey, The Emancipation of Me was number one, but I'm thinking of making it like one and a half or something, and then making the other album that I want number one instead. But or combining them at number one, which I've never done. But I could do something different. But I gotta figure out what I want to do, or I'll make it like a two and a half, and then make the other one the one. We'll see. But yeah, if you have any suggestions, because now I want to change my number one, but I still want to keep Mariah Carey, The Emancipation of Mimi, at one or two, or like two and a half, or like one and a half, or something. I guess we'll see what I decide to do. I should just probably just combine them, and then that'll be it, and just make them both number one with the other album. So anyway, but yeah, I wrote a letter called Dear Amy for Amy Winehouse. I did the same thing for Left Eye, and I was like, I should do something. I want to do something different, so I wrote another letter. Dear Amy, you were just too hard to ignore. I wish you had someone in your life looking out for you. I wish you had someone in your life who really had your best interest at heart. Who knows the highs you would be at by now? You were already successful. You might have been on top of the world. We need your brand of raw singing now, and your brand of vulnerability. Everyone is so superficial now. Everyone has to protect their aesthetic now. You were just you, and you were loved for that, and are still loved because of it. Love, your fans. I did not look at what I signed Left Eye's letter. I was trying to make it match, but you get the point. But yeah, I just, I felt so sad. I still feel sad, like especially that young 27. That's crazy. Um, so much potential, so much talent. Just succumbing to addiction, and yeah, it's really sad. And I definitely, I do remember like thinking, oh, I hope she gets better. She was really talented, and yeah, I mean, now she's forever immortalized. I don't know if that's a good. I mean, it's good that people are still recognizing her and people still like her and love her music. I'm not saying that's bad, but I'm saying it's kind of like, of course, it's great. Like we're still remembering her, but it's sad because you're not here to continue her legacy. Is what I want to say. But yeah, have you listened to Back to Black? Have you listened to Frank? I think I have both on CD. Once again, iTunes is weird. I don't know what's going on, but like I had to listen to this on Apple Music, so it was a little different because I think on the US CD version, there's you know I'm no good remix on it, which I feel like it's okay. I mean I liked it, but I don't know if I was dying to like re-listen to it. But yeah, I do like the song You Know I'm No Good. It's very self-reflective again, like the whole album. And yeah. What do you think of Amy Winehouse? Did you love her? Did you hate her? I felt like, of course, like the early 2000s was a really rough. Like for paparazzi, for celebrities. Like I feel like it's always kind of rough being a celebrity because like people say all kind of crazy stuff about you, but I feel like the early 2000s was like the Wild West of like tabloids and paparazzi stalking you down and jumping on your car and all this crazy stuff. So yeah, let me know what you think of Amy Winehouse, Back to Black. What did you think of the biopic if you saw it? What did you think of Amy, the documentary if you saw it? Let me know. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all next week.